We slay our brother and conceal his blood. Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and his brethren were content. You may be seated. I'm interested about one thing. I used to see people, and I used to watch people, and I used to hear people. And I guess we used to call it being cocky. But as children and as people, we have been around people that said, I'm going to be this, and I'm going to be that. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And we would look at each other as children, and we would kind of shrug our shoulders. And matter of fact, some of us made fun of others that said that they wanted to do something that was just seemingly out of the ordinary. They didn't say that they wanted to pump gas at a gas. Back then we pumped gas at a gas station. They didn't want to work at a convenience store. They had a dream and they had an ambition to reach something that was out of the ordinary. And if you've ever been poor, you're more concerned about what you're going to eat than what you're going to do for a living. You're more worried about just getting a job of any kind than just going to work. Those that passed up jobs, it ain't mine, I ain't got it. Those that passed up jobs on the entry level and was always reaching for a job that was much higher than would seem like their experience or their grade of education or their plot or their abilities or their influence. See, influence gets you jobs that nothing else will get you. Influence will get you a job because somebody's a friend of yours. But there's always those ones. And there was a young man named Art Hamilton. Art Hamilton, he never played football with the rest of us kids. He never seemed to be interested. We would play football, and he would be off in a corner somewhere. And I always asked him, Art, all you do is nothing. He looked at me and said, I'm never going to work a day in my life. I said, what do you mean? He said, I mean, I will never go and I'll never punch a time clock. I will never go and I'll never do what y'all do. I said, well, how are you going to make a living? He said, I'll live. Art came from the same poor neighborhood that I came from. And the same rundown houses and the same rundown cars. And to this day, Art Hamilton has never worked. He drives a better car. He lives in a better house. Because he set his goals higher than what I set mine. All I wanted to see is my name on a paycheck with some numbers, any kind of numbers. It didn't matter, just crooked numbers of some kind. But Art dreamed of being on the legislature, the House of Representatives, being a senator. He dreamed. And from the time that he left high school, he began to work the public to become a public servant, and he has never received a paycheck from punching a clock. the ambition of some and the dreams of some. It is interesting, two people can have the same week. And two people can have the same results on the second week. The first week, it's all smiles. Everything's good. Oh, man. You ever had a week of everything just cool? You know? You slept well, you felt well, you ate well, car worked well, job went well, the boss was well. And I'm not talking about after you retired either. I'm talking about you just had a week that was good. Wife made you your best supper, whatever that is. You just had a good week. And the next week, listen to me, the same two people, the same situation, except this week all you had was tears. I'm going somewhere, and sorrow and heartache and bad stuff. And nothing went right, and everything went wrong, and you don't feel good. And you know how that goes? How come on week one you never thank God every day for all the smiles? But on week two, you blame God for all your tears. The same God that gave you the smiles is the same God when you got tears. The difference is you only serve your God, and you never expect to have to deal with badness. It's the same God in both weeks. God didn't change. Who changed? I changed.
That's right.
Somebody asked me the other day, said, I hope you have a good day. And I said, I don't have bad days. What do you mean you don't have bad days? I don't have bad days. No matter what you go through, the day is what you make it. Whether your circumstance is bad and bad things happen, don't change your day. It doesn't change your mood. You change your mood to circumvent the day. But if you were to say, this is the day that the Lord hath made, regardless of my circumstance, I will rejoice and be glad in it. Joseph goes to his brethren and his fathers, and he said, listen, boys, I had a dream. And I really don't understand, but I had this dream that the moon and the stars and the sheaves of the field all bound down to mine. And instantly, whether he realized it or not, Mom and Dad realized Mom and Dad was at the top and the stars and the corn stalks in the field bowed down unto Joseph. And immediately the boys became mad of the dream. Hang on with me. They became mad of the dream. How many go to bed and ask, it would sure be nice tonight if I dreamed of ice cream? You ever done that? Anybody ever gone to bed and said, well, I dream of things. I don't remember a day that I've ever said, Lord, I want to dream this tonight.
Right.
Their dreams just happen. You don't remember them. And there are some dreams that are content of our memory and of our subconscious mind. But other dreams are the dreams that God has given you. There was a man named Les Brown. Les Brown was born in 1945. Les was born on the south side of Miami in a really bad neighborhood. Les had no mother, no father. He had a twin brother. They lived in filth, and they lived in rot, and they lived in mess. Les was adopted by a family, and believe it or not, by a single mother he was adopted. And as he grew, they said he was incapable, uneducationable of learning. They said, Les, you're retarded. And they labeled him a retard. He went to the retard classes, and I'm not making fun, hang on. He tells the story himself. And he said, there, everywhere I went, I was known as the retard. He said, no matter where I went. He walked into a high school classroom, and there was a teacher there. Teacher looked at him and said, boy, go to the blackboard. Him being stunned, looked at the teacher and said, teacher, I'm not in this class. I just walked in. He said, I don't care if you're in this class. You're not going to the blackboard. He said, teacher, I can't go to the blackboard. He said, why? He said, because I'm a retard and I'm unlearnable. And I don't know how to read or write. He said, go to the blackboard anyway and follow my instructions. This teacher held him there, and after class went to him, and he says, I will never, ever, out of your mouth, want to hear the words, I'm a retard, again. He said, you will learn and I will teach you. And he began to teach him, a young man that now is in high school, surely can't learn, surely cannot become something, surely. He looked at him and he said, boy, what do you want to be? He said, I want to be a DJ. I want to be on the radio. I want people to hear me. He said, if you will live your dream will happen. And as he taught him, and as he learned, and as he developed, he wanted that DJ job. And he said, son, there's two ways to prepare for a job interview. One, you practice the interview. And you're prepared for an interview that may never happen. The other never prepares for the interview, and when they get the interview, they're not prepared for the interview because they didn't expect the interview, and they never get hired. And he said, I want you to practice every day for your interview. And he said, first, you always introduce yourself and why you're here. And the day came that he was interviewed for a radio station. And he walked in and he said, hi, I'm Les Brown. I'm for blah, 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 blah. I'm here for the job interview. The man said, have you taken journalism? He said, no. Have you ever been to school for broadcasting? He said, no. Have you ever worked at all? And even, no. Get out of here. What I want, get out. Said, dejected, he went back to his teacher. Hang on with me. And he told the teacher, he said, I went. And I was rejected and I was thrown out. He said, son, you know why you were thrown out? He said, no, sir. He said, because the person that you were interviewing with is more negative than what you are and more ignorant than you are. He said, you go back until they say yes. And every day you come back and report to me. And he said, I want you to go 7 days in a row. So the next day he went in and he goes, hi, my name is Les Brown. I'm here. And the guy said, I told you yesterday to get out of here. You're not welcomed here. And the 3rd day, and the 4th day, and on the 5th day, he said, hi, I'm Les Brown, and he said, I already know who you are. Just go get me some coffee. And he said he would go and listen at the door of the broadcasters. And he'd go in and sneak in and sit down until they kicked him out. And he said, I brought them lunch, I went and got them coffee, I did everything that they told me to do. And he said, one day I'm cleaning up. And the disc jockey falls ill and faints in the room. The vice president of the broadcasting called him and said, hey, so-and-so is sick and cannot finish the shift. Can you call somebody, get another broadcaster in there to finish his shift? He waited about 20 minutes. Called the guy back and said, man, I can't find anybody. Listen to me. He said, what do you mean you can't find anybody? He said, man, I can't find anybody. He never told them I never picked up the phone. He never told them I didn't call anybody. He just waited. And the guy said, can you do anything? They said, well, sir, I've been practicing since I was a boy for this opportunity. And he went in and he sat down at the microphone and he spun a record. And he said, hi, I'm Les Brown from WJN from Miami, Florida. And this is, and he played the record, and in an amazement, they heard a man who had been prepared for a dream that he didn't have the ability for. He became so popular that he got his own TV show, The Les Brown Show. And he started an institute for dreamers. Joseph, you dreamed a dream. But I couldn't put you in the dream until you prepared yourself for the dream. You see, we think that God is going to take us and place us at the end of the dream where the pot of gold is. But Joseph, you had a dream. You knew it was of the Lord. But you started out in a pit. Hungry, dirty, sold as a slave. You started out serving others. Your dream failed, so it seemed. But Joseph practiced, listen to me, his dream. As he starts working his way up to command, as God began to move him from the pit to the palace. From the pit to the palace. There are so many times I have laid in the despair of defeat, because from the dream to the palace, I gave up hope. From the dream to the palace, I couldn't understand the circumstances that I had to go through to see the dream of my life come to pass. You say I'm old, I don't have any dreams. I've got a dream, and that is to see one day my family saved, one day my relatives saved, one day to see, come on somebody, that I will walk streets of gold, and my family will be there.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, Jesus. My
But
God,
too many
my God,
times
my
in the
God.
journey of the dream, bad things happen.
Jesus, Jesus.
And we give up because we've been defeated. We blame it on the devil, but it ain't the devil. We're defeated because we are defeated, not the devil defeats us. The devil cannot defeat you. You can only defeat yourself. The devil can't come against you. Oh, come on, somebody. He can't kill you unless the Lord says so. He can't do anything to you without permission. All of my dreams that have failed are because I allowed my own dreams to fail because I didn't understand. Even when you're born in the kingdom of God, to the time you're raptured, there's a bumpy road. There's some pits. There's some slavery. There's some bad things that happen. But you can't give up because the dream will never happen until you understand. You got to be prepared.
My God, my God, my God. Help us, Lord. Help us, Lord. Jesus.
The chances of Prince Charles ever seeing the throneship of England is slim and none. Yet he's prepared his whole life for it. Matter of fact, I've heard that he's already said that if it comes to that, he will step aside and the next one will take the throne. It's better to be prepared for the dream than to never dream at all. The problem is not the devil. The problem is me. It's me that didn't stay prayed up. It's me that lost the vision. It's me that lost out with God. It's me that lost my way. It's me that lost the desire for the presence of God. Come on, somebody.
God.
Come on now.
God,
You know, there were times in your living room you would feel the Holy Ghost. And it didn't matter who was there. You screamed out, hallelujah.
My God.
It was days that you prayed and you believed. It was me that gave up on God. It wasn't God giving up on me.
Jesus, help us, Lord. Talk to us.
Joseph, you got where you were going.
Lord, move us, oh God.
But if I remember, you were accused of some things. You went back down, Joseph. You thought you were going up, but you had to go back down. But all the time that Joseph was there, he was preparing himself for the promise of the dream. My problem is I always blame God for the bad days, but I never give him credit for the good days. My problem's not God. My problem is me.
Oh, God.
Everything we do, oh, that stinking devil, oh, that stinking devil. It ain't the devil, it's the devil I shave. It's the devil that gargles in the morning. That's the devil I face. My carnality, my unbelief.
All right, all right.
It's me that ruins the dream.
It's the truth.
The dream is still the dream. It's because I got tired of preparing. I got tired of going down. I got tired of being knocked down. I thought, God, that this wasn't God. What if Joseph would have said, it's not God that I ever said? Listen to me, if Joseph would have ever gave up on the dream, pardon me, when the drought came and the food was none, when the food was none, his mom, his daddy, and his brothers and their families would have died because he fed them from a dream. But if you'd have looked at me and I'd have been Joseph, I think I'd have gave up. But the dream that God has given us, because it's hard getting there. Oh, come on now. I've heard stories of how hard it is. I've given up, and I'm ashamed to say I've given up on things and ways, and God used somebody else to make it happen. You can't pray for something and then not be willing to prepare yourself for the day, because when you quit preparing, you've lost the dream. I've said all I've had to say is I started out a long time ago to follow Jesus, not caring overly gay. Anybody know that song? Bobby Shoemake, I believe, sing it. And I'm going to finish this race I have begun. Come on. It's a long time from the start to the finish. I'm not here to stop. The devil tries to discourage and knock down, but he can't bother me if I'm in Jesus. Because you can't tell me you're on fire for God and the devil's bothering you. The devil ain't bothering you. He's got better things to do. Quit praying, he's going to bother you. Huh? Quit believing, he's going to bother you. Sure he will. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that are in the dream. If your confidence is in God, if your prayer is in God, if your belief is in God, if everything is in God, it's going to be worth it all someday, church, not to let go of the dream. Oh, come on now. The devil's tempt everybody to throw up their hands and quit and all of that stuff. But he can't bother you if your mind and your goal is the dream. It's when the dream goes away that the dream never happens. It's better to dream and have everybody make fun of you than never to dream and never to accomplish anything. I don't know about you, but I want to go to heaven. Okay, I'm the only one that wants to go to heaven. But it's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy. I want to dream. I'm old now, but I still dream. Because I know God has things to do. Oh yeah, we're fighting. But you know what? I'm going to be fighting whether I got Jesus or not. The good thing is I got Him to hold me. I've got God. And I've got everything. Can we stand?
Times I climbed up life's mountain. Too many times I faced this cruel world of sin. And whenever I thirsted, His love was my fountain. Satan can't hold enough to turn back on Him. Too many times I climbed up life's mountain. Too many times I faced this cruel world of sin. Whenever I thirsted, His love was my fountain. Satan can't hold enough to turn back on Him. He never said never be heartaches. No, He never, as I
Hallelujah,
recall.
Jesus.
Oh,
Hallelujah,
and
Jesus.
He never said
Hallelujah,
that
Jesus.
was it narrow.
Hallelujah,
As
Jesus.
I see the sparrow when it falls.
Hallelujah, Jesus.
He never said there wouldn't be
Hallelujah,
times you spend with your back to
Hallelujah,
the
Jesus.
wall.
Hallelujah.
Oh, but too many
Hallelujah,
times
Jesus.
I've walked with my Jesus. I'll
Hallelujah,
never
Jesus.
look back to it all. Too many times I climbed up life's mountain.
Hallelujah,
Too
Jesus.
many times I faced this cruel world of
Hallelujah,
sin.
Jesus.
Whenever I thirsted,
Hallelujah,
His
Jesus.
love was my fountain. Satan
Hallelujah,
can't
Jesus.
hold enough to turn back on
Hallelujah.
Him.
Whatever you've got to do, it'll be worth it all. I'm sorry that it's so late. Amen. God bless you. Man, if you want to